Well, hello there, you beautiful, beautiful, amazing, wonderful people. Guess what? It's Wednesday, baby. It's Wednesday. The midweek hump, and we all love a midweek hump. Like I say, you're looking absolutely amazing today. I don't know how you do it, but you must be having a good week. And if you're not, I hope you are, because you should, because you're amazing. And I'm going to get straight into the meat and potatoes as we are talking about Candace Owens. Because Candace Owens has gone off grid. She's gone off grid in the aftermath of her claims regarding the Macrons have put out a hit on her. Apparently $1.5 million has been changing hands, and there is evidence to support this. She was contacted, and there is evidence, and this evidence has been shared with some individuals. And yeah, she's now gone dark, but she is still active on social media. Just she hasn't come back to YouTube to do a live. So let's just talk about some of the options that we have here. And then we're just going to look at some of the people who are supporting her and the backgrounds of these individuals, which includes people involved in Scientology and the building of TPUK and, yeah, some other weird shit. But first of all, let's just be clear. She could genuinely be scared. This could be something that was sent to her, and she is genuinely scared for her life. And that is plausible. If we haven't learned anything in our years of following crime and cases and people going missing and mysterious deaths and all this, I think it's quite safe to say that if a government has an issue with someone, then the chances are that person at some point they could disappear. And we've seen multiple situations over just many years of important, powerful and influential people being assassinated, for instance. And the story that's pushed out by those in power just don't make sense. And that's the same in the Charlie Kirk case, which we are going to come all the way back round and discuss this. But Tyler Robinson and this story just doesn't make sense. Everything we've seen doesn't make sense. And because everything we've seen doesn't make sense and people are questioning it, there seems to be an active attempt at making sure that we don't see anything else. Because, of course, if you don't see it, you can't question it. You can only question why you're not seeing it. She could have been told to stop. Candace Owens could have literally been reached out to someone and said, look, you've got to stop what you're doing. Just stop. But then the question is, if someone had reached out to Candace Owens and told Candace Owens to stop, would Candace Owens be the sort of person to stop, or would she reach out to the millions of people that she has following her and say, look, I've been told to stop? The fact that she's gone dark off YouTube is quite telling. But the flip side of that coin is she is still active on social media. She is still finding time to search social media to find supportive posts and post them. Some may argue that if you are genuinely scared for your life and you truly believe that there is a hit out on it, you would walk away from social media until the powers that be hopefully address it. Because make no bones about it, the powers that be do need to address it. There needs to be something said and there needs to be something done. That's as simple as that. Now, whether that be ramifications for making up a massive load of lies and someone be held accountable, or if this is true, this is legit, which it could be, then there needs to be ramifications of that as well, especially if the claims that not only are the Macrons, for instance, put out a hit on Candace Owens, but also that they were involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk, then surely that can't go unpunished. There must be something come of that. But then that does open another can of worms, and that is, well, who the fuck is Tyler Robinson then? What has Tyler Robinson got to do with the Macrons? How has this individual ended up in the position where he is as the lone gunman? because there's going to have to be some explanations around how that happened. And maybe that's why there will be a delay in coming out publicly as they try to see how they unshit the shit that they've caused. I've got another here. She could have just screwed up. Targeted discrediting of Candace Owens. This could have been something that was sent to her to put her in a position where she is now backed fully into a corner. Where does she go from here? What do you do with this information? Because what do you do if Candace Owens now just comes out? She comes out, comes back to the platform, and completely pivots away from this situation. You don't hear anything, you don't see anything, she pivots away from it. She might even come out and point the finger at someone else. What do you do with that? But I guess that's your moral dilemma. Do you continue to listen? Do you continue to say that Candace is right about everything that she says? Which, ironically, she can't really be right about every single thing that she said, unless we're saying that Israel, Egypt, and France are all working together to execute Charlie Kirk, but it should have been Candace Owens. I found that, sadly, and I have to say this to be right and true, I found that a little bit disrespectful that Candace Owens would almost go as far, and some would say, well, it wasn't almost, it was absolutely, to almost claim that the killing of Charlie Kirk was in some way connected directly to Candace Owens. The hijack of this sad, sad death, for me, would have just been a step too far. But look, I'm giving the lady the benefit of the doubt. I respect everyone up until the point where you can't respect them anymore. If somebody says something and I feel that there is even a slight chance that it be true, then I will give them the chance to run their course. We have covered crimes such as the Idaho 4 and Brian Kohberger, for instance. Some people will say that he is a heinous monster and deserves to be where he is. I'll turn around and say, well, we haven't really been proven that. And historically, we have seen many people be incarcerated, lose their life even through the capital punishment system, and just lose their freedoms for decades, only to be found out that they shouldn't have been there at all. Brian Kohberger, he was placed in a position where he was potentially facing the firing squad. It'd be funny what you can get somebody to do when that is the ramifications of not doing what you want them to do. I would have thought by now we would have at least seen some shred of evidence that would 100% undeniably say that Brian Kohberger is the person who done this crime. I have yet to see it. We can't even see interviews of the guy. We can see interviews of everyone else, just not the person who they're saying did it. Unusual. But back to Candace. So Candace Owens is being supported, but some of the people who are supporting her are a little bit strange. So let's go over to here first. So Candace Owens is still active on social media, okay? That is important to understand that. So it says she reposted this 9 hours ago, and it says, this is Evan Kilgore. The officer Tatum now says he has seen the evidence regarding the assassination threat on Candace Owens. Brandon Tatum says he's convinced and believes there needs to be serious consequences for the French government. Now, what Tatum says, he doesn't, again, provide any real receipts. He just says that he's had a conversation with Candace Owens, and off the back end of this conversation and what she has shown him, he is convinced that there is indeed something happens, and there should be ramifications should an inquiry lead to this being found to be true. But he does say that there needs to be an investigation into the situation. So that's what Tatum is saying here. Someone else who's reached out and has said, and this is John Mappin, which we're going to dig into John Mappin in a second, because this is where things start to fall a little bit by the wayside. And he's come out and said the fact that Pavel Durov has come out fighting for real Candace and for Charlie Kirk is important. I just happened to spend a few days in France where I was informed over breakfast by someone who I trust to be reliable that it was a French team that was subcontracted to kill Gaddafi. He told me how he was assassinated. We're advancing into a new age of transparency, and the best advice that I can give all Charlie's friends is to be transparent as is humanly possible. Protect the truth tellers at all cost. Their value to our world is unimaginable. Pavel, thank you for your bravery. And we touched on Pavel yesterday. Now, Pavel Durov, the CEO of Telegram, he's got problems with France, and he's been embroiled in accusations that surround his reluctance to police the platform correctly and protect potentially the most vulnerable in society, that being children. Now, he's walked away from it, but he's a very rich individual with a very powerful team of lawyers around him. But John Mappin as well, with respect of who John Mappin is, well, John Mappin has been involved with TP USA for some time. He was instrumental in the building of TP UK. But it's important to understand that he is QAnon. He is Scientology. This individual had been pulled up on his Camelot castle fucking they've basically got this big castle that's what do you call it, you can go and stay there, have holidays there, but they were found to be sending children as young as 8 videos of Scientology. So this is an individual who is slightly, he's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. So we've got someone embroiled in potential issues surrounding the aforementioned in Pavel, and then you've got this individual who's a Scientology individual who some of the things that, let's just for this look. Despite being a British incarnation of an American organisation, John Mappin, seemingly a key player in the UK launch, fits much better with a long-standing tradition of British right-wing eccentricity. So much so, in fact, that Leave.eu donor Aaron Banks described Mappin as a total Fruit Loop. In his book, The Bad Boys of Brexit, Banks claims that Mappin told him he's trying to launch a super-powered brain control system that requires delivery facilities in 50 languages in every major city. I think that this article does go on. Here it goes. Look, Mappin's Cornish hotel, Camelot Castle, has a King Arthur theme. Many reviews on the website TripAdvisor describe the hotel as creepy, with one user complaining that 2 DVDs promoting Scientology have been sent to their 8-year-old daughter following their stay. The weight of negative TripAdvisor reviews reportedly prompted Mappin to enlist an online reputation management company in 2010. Mappin is also a devotee of Donald Trump, awarding him an honorary Camelot Castle knighthood in 2016. In a bizarre video filmed at Mappin's own personal round table, Mappin sent Trump a replica Excalibur sword, claiming, henceforth, Donald J. Trump shall be known at Camelot Castle as Sir Donald Trump of Camelot. I think there is a picture of the sword, and this is the letter. You can pause the video if you like and have a look at that if that sort of thing floats your boat. But look, what's my conclusion here? My conclusion is a simple one, and that is that Candace Owens could very well be in danger. This information surrounding a potential hit put out on her by the Macrons could be true. We would be foolish to completely say, no, complete and utter insanity. That is, however, what legacy media are saying. They are saying that Candace Owens has finally fell off the deep end. She is one sandwich short of a picnic. The cheese has well and truly slid off her cracker. But what we learn about mainstream media, or we have learned about mainstream media over the years, is that they're a tool more than anything. And in a lot of situations, they're a tool to help those in power discredit those who are trying to tell you the truth. The issue that I have with Candace Owens is that we need to see evidence of what is happening here. I appreciate that she may not be able to supply some of that, and these things take time, and yes, we are impatient. We want to see everything like yesterday. We just have to learn, I guess, to be a little bit more patient. But what I will say is, and I said this earlier, I asked this earlier, and I want you to let me know down below, is what happens if nothing comes of this? Genuinely. Because we could be in a situation where that is the case, that nothing literally gets said, nothing literally gets addressed, and Candace Owens could literally come out of the gate back onto YouTube and completely pivot away from this situation, point at someone else and say they're involved. What do you do with that? I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if you're someone who don't think it is a possibility, then you haven't been paying attention. I just hope, genuinely, that Candace Owens is safe. I genuinely do. For all of my criticisms, she is a human being. She is obviously in pain. She lost a friend. And she wants to know what happened. I'm not going to take that away from her. But she is now well and truly painted into a corner. And this isn't going to be an easy one to get out of. Love you all, and I will catch you all in the next one.